everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and we are in the middle of October of 2023. And recently we have had a lot of people that have found us through different podcasts I've been on, friends and family, and just different things that we kind of have going on a continual basis. But it seems like there's a huge influx of people right now that I'm so excited about. So if you're new to us, welcome. But I wanted to do an update video on what I personally do and many people in my family during cold and flu season. Now, the reason I believe we actually have a cold and flu season is because think about what happens when it gets cold in many parts of the world. You stop getting as much sunshine, and you might even be getting a lot less physical activity. I know that's true for a lot of people. So the goal is to really make it so that you're healthy all year and your immune system is doing its job, but then to have these herbal remedies in your arsenal for when you need them. Now, there's some things that I've personally been doing for literally decades at this point. So I wanted to just share them with you, and keep in mind, this might, for some of you, seem a little bit overwhelming because there might be a lot. But for some of you who are used to taking supplements and having a whole cupboard full of natural remedies at your disposal, this will make perfect sense to you. So I'm just going to kind of go through these. I actually literally pulled this group of supplements off of my kitchen counter. In my kitchen, I have a counter that's got a corner on it, and all my supplements live there next to my teapot. Now, these are the supplements that I take on a daily basis. I do have a cupboard, a separate cupboard with just kind of all the rest of the remedies that I use here and there. So I just kind of wanted to go through these and give you some ideas. Plus, I brought a little glass and put some water in it, and I'm going to show you how I actually blend these remedies to take, because a lot of these you can just take at the same time. Now, let me just start with this. Okay, so this is vitamin D, D3K2, and this is our zinc. So these two remedies are really, really good and important during the cold and flu season. Vitamin D is actually a steroid hormone. It's not something that is technically a vitamin. Your body produces it when it gets exposed to the sunlight on your skin. And you don't need a lot of sunlight exposure. And if you have dark skin, then it might be really difficult for you to get natural sunlight that gives you enough vitamin D for your body to produce. You can get vitamin D from some food sources, but what I found really, really effective for me, especially during the winter, I live here in Utah, and we have very cold days. A lot of times you can't get outside and absorb sunshine. If you could, you'd be like Wim Hof, the Iceman. And I know some people actually get out in the winter when it's a sunny day and it's super cold, and they expose their skin for 15, 20 minutes, and they literally get their vitamin D in the winter too, which if that is you, I say awesome and go for it. Now, the nice thing about these two supplements that we brought into our line a couple years ago is that, let's take the zinc, for example. You only need 5 drops that gives you the daily adult dose of what you need for zinc. You know, zinc is something that you use in almost all the processes of your body. And it's super, super simple for your body to absorb in liquid form. And if you get, if there's a way to get yourself tested that you might need more zinc, but then I would do that. But for me, this is simple, simple, simple. And I've actually gotten to a point where I can tell how much is in there. So I actually squeeze it to a very tiny amount. So I don't know if you can see there at the bottom. And I just squirt it in the water. Okay, so that is typically one of the first things I do. Is just, I get this little glass. This is actually a little wine glass, but you can kind of see it's got some kind of dark around it. That's just residue from me using this for herbs. But I'll get about that much water, and then it's going to get kind of cloudy and full of a ton of herbs here in just a second. Now, the same with vitamin D. So the vitamin D is exactly the same. Just pull up the same amount, and I put it in the water. Super easy. Now, the next thing that I always do, I love this product so much. This is our flagship. This is LDM 100. This is a pure concentrated tincture of Lomatium dissectum. And right now, where we are in October of 2023, We just wrapped up our annual harvest of lomatium. We go out every fall and we wildcraft this plant every single fall to put in our tinctures. We do it with a lot of love. We do it with a lot of intention. There's a lot of family camaraderie, hard work. We all get really dirty. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing that we get to do to bring this natural herb from Mother Nature into the hands of people that need it. And it's one of the reasons that we do what we do is because so many people have found us and we feel really, really blessed. Okay, now what I do with this, now I typically will just squeeze this up as much as I can. And a lot of times you'll need to pump the dropper to get pretty full. So see, that's actually quite a bit. Now sometimes you're going to see lomatium that is much lighter than this, which is normal because it's wildcrafted. Sometimes it can get, you can see, do you see how that turns cloudy? That is very normal. When you put herbs in water, especially herbs that have lots of resins in them, they will turn a little bit cloudy. So I throw the lomatium in with my zinc and my vitamin D. And if you're gonna, you can always, that's actually a really super good place to stop. And if any of these don't resonate with you, or you have other sources, like if you have a better source for your vitamin D and your zinc, go for it. You know, these are all simply things that I do and the resources that I have that I use in my own personal daily routine. Now, I've got a bottle of Lung Blend here. Now this is a big bottle. This also comes in a 2-ounce size. But this one I love to take straight because I love the way that it makes me feel when it goes down my throat. I can literally feel it open up my lungs. This is not a tincture I take every day. I don't take this every day during cold and flu season. I take this simply when I feel like I need it. So if I have been exposed to, say, smoky air or a lot of pollution here in the Salt Lake Valley, we are between 2 mountain ranges and we get a weather system that's called inversion, where the cold air gets trapped in the valley along with all the pollution that is generated by all the cars and all of the whatever else is going on. It all gets trapped in the air, underneath this system, and they call that inversion. And what clears it out is typically a storm. A rainstorm, a snowstorm, it'll clear that out. And sometimes breathing that inversion can really bother my lungs. And I try my best to stay inside when that type of weather is really bad. But I also, of course, need to get out and go here and there. And I will do a daily dose or 2 of Lung Blend. Same with in the summer, if we have a heavy fire season, there'll be a lot of smoke in the air. So if I ever feel like my lungs need a little bit of nourishment, support, maybe some detox, then I will take the Lung Blend. And I, like I said, prefer to take it straight, to squeeze up the dropper, squirt it right in my mouth. And a lot of people will make them cough a little bit, but I would suggest even trying it, just a few drops. But you can also add it to water too. You don't have to take it straight like I do, but that for me is a personal preference. I love the herbs in it. Now, another thing that I never have, another thing I always have in my house is our throat spray. Now, this little puppy is amazing. This has a ton of different herbs. It's got some essential oils in it. It's an organic vegetable glycerin base. So after we extract all of the herbs, all the medicinal properties, in the typical way we do in the alcohol, then we put it through a process where we low and slow heat most of the alcohol out, and then we reconstitute it in organic vegetable glycerin. This is one of our most popular products in the cold and flu season because of how amazing it is. You know, sometimes you get a bit of a cold or the flu and you can't get rid of a cough. You have a sore throat. Maybe the air is dry. You know, when we have our heaters on here in Utah, just even sleeping, the air can get really dry. And this has been a total game changer for me, especially if I've gotten a little bit of a cold. I love this stuff. Now, the nice thing about this is it also comes in a 4-ounce refill. So if you buy a small bottle, you can get, this is 1 ounce, and then you can get the 4 ounce, and it's it'll fill this up 4 times and it'll save you some money. So this is something to keep a lookout for. Besides, it's also nice. I know a lot of families like to get every person their own bottle of throat spray so that they have it individually. And what we do is we just take a Sharpie and we write the person's name on it right there so people know. So that one is really nice to have during cold and flu season. Now, another thing that I know a lot of you are familiar with is our amazing Lomatium capsule product. Okay, so this is called C's Plus. C's Plus. Now, when my dad put Lomatium into capsules, we used to do this by hand for years and years and years. We would get empty veggie caps. We would grind up Lomatium into a pretty fine powder, which is very difficult to do because it's so full of oils and resins. And then we would literally sit with a bowl of empty veggie caps and a bowl of Lomatium powder, and we would hand encapsulate. There reached a point quite a few years ago where in order for us to grow, we had to have a manufacturer start making this for us, and which was a really, really good thing. But one of the things that I had to do was I had to add something to the Lomatium so that because the Lomatium by itself couldn't go through an encapsulating machine because it's too sticky. And that's just all the oils and the resins. And it's actually pretty beautiful when you have your hands in fresh ground Lomatium because it not only smells amazing, but there's just something really down to earth, holistic, something that feels so right when we're using these herbs and these plants that were put on this earth to help us get through it to the best of our ability with the most vibrant health, right? Because we are biology and we get sick, so that's the way it is sometimes. So what I did for this, because my dad's passed away. He passed away about almost 26 years ago. So this I brought in about 15 years ago. So I added dandelion root, which is good to support and detox and nourish the liver, and then I added red root. So we've got 3 roots. Now the red root helps to clear mucus out of the organs, which is really, really good when you're doing something like trying to clear a viral load or clear a virus or some type of infection out of you. So I made the capsule bigger than we used to make it when my dad, it was just called C's 2000. It's the title that my dad gave this product. And then I just changed it to C's Plus because it's plus the 2 herbs. So the capsule's bigger. Now the nice thing about this is that what my dad studied is that when Lomatium goes through the digestive process as compared to the bloodstream, when you have the liquid, especially in an alcohol base, you take it and it goes directly to the bloodstream. Nothing has to digest, nothing has to break down. If your digestive system maybe is a little bit compromised and you have trouble digesting things, liquids are the way to go because your body doesn't have to do anything to get all the benefit and absorb all of the properties of whatever it is that you're taking. So that is a nice thing. But what my dad studied about Lomatium is when it does get digested, it goes to work on deeper pulmonary or respiratory infections. So if you've got something in your chest, in your lungs, and there's an airway thing, this to me is your gold standard here. Lung blend and the C's 2000. So those 2 are absolutely perfect together. Now the final thing that I'm going to talk about is our mushroom power blend. We just added that earlier this year. Now this is immune system. What I would suggest, so this is mushroom power blend, is if you're a person who seems to always pick up something from whoever you're around, the goal is to really get your immune system on track. And this is something that you can add to your daily supplement routine and just keep it in your routine all year long. And this is just going to really help get your immune system to the place where it needs to be. This has a really powerful blend of chaga, reishi, shiitake, maitake, and turkey tail. I'm going to put a link to a little video I did about this blend and the individual properties of these 5 mushrooms. In fact, chaga, if you know, is actually, it's actually not really even a mushroom. Chaga is like more of a parasite that grows on birch trees. The whole thing about all of these incredible mushrooms, and their properties are really, really cool. In fact, the reason it's in the mushroom category is because it contains a high amount of what's called beta glucans, which most medicinal mushrooms contain. So I would really suggest that you do some research. So this is all that I have with me here. So we've got these 2 capsule products, the Lomatium in the C's Plus, the Lung Blend, the LDM 100, the throat spray, and then the vitamin D and the zinc. So this is a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are not an absolute must for you. Like I said, the Lung Blend and the C's are not something I take every day. So I've got a group, and even the throat spray. I don't use the throat spray every day. I only use it when I need it. So I've got a little group here of 4 that I would recommend that you put as a part of your arsenal for winter. Mushroom blend and LDM, and zinc and vitamin D. Take a look at the dosage. We actually have a dosing schedule that you can take a look at for weight and like even little kids, and it'll tell you in our catalog, which you can download a PDF. I'll put the link for that too. You can just download that right off of our website, and there's a one page that has dosing instructions on how to dose herbals, and specifically herbal tinctures, because I think a lot of people aren't used to taking tinctures. Now, many of you, if you're watching this channel, you're probably very familiar with herbal tinctures. But if you're brand new to it, there can be a little bit of a learning curve, if you will. But I would say my biggest suggestion is to be brave. Be brave, especially when it comes to using Lomatium for the first time, because I know that for a lot of people, if you're finding us and you're looking at any of the information we put out, we're always really careful about educating people on the potential for a one-time Lomatium detox rash. So this is something to be very aware of. It's not anything to be afraid of, but educate yourself. I mean, it's really interesting. I actually know people who have known about us for years, and they use a ton of our other stuff, but they're still a little bit hesitant in using a Lomatium product because of the potential for the rash. So what I would say is educate yourself, support and detox your liver. We find that always helps, and it's always good to do that anyway. But be brave. This is one of the herbal tools that I would not want to go through this life without. So keep in mind, this is all my own opinion based on my own research. None of this is meant to be medical advice. This is all the way I take care of my health, the way I suggest my family members take care of their health. And it's something that I love sharing, because I think that as modern humans, we're starting to really realize the potential and the power of healing using the gifts of Mother Nature. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And it's awesome that you're here if you're here for the first time. And I am glad you're here. So have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next time.